to Amber Lullabies in Sunstone Gardens, a soothing and enchanting sleep story designed to guide you to a peaceful night's rest. If you find tranquility in these gentle melodies and wish to explore more calming soundscapes, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Before we step into the luminous Sunstone Gardens, we'll begin with a gentle breathing guidance to help you unwind and prepare for our journey. If you prefer to drift directly into the garden's embrace, you can find chapter timestamps in the description below. Take a moment to settle into your most comfortable position. Allow your body to become heavy and relaxed, sinking deeply into your bed. Adjust your pillows and blankets until you feel completely cozy and supported. Let go of any tension you might be holding, allowing the day's worries to simply melt away. Imagine the soft, amber light of the Sunstone Gardens beginning to surround you, bringing with it a wave of gentle warmth and peace. This is your time to simply be, to breathe, and to let go. Let's begin with a calming breath. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose, drawing in the soft, honeyed scent of sunstone blossoms. Hold for a moment and then exhale gently through your mouth, like a soft sigh of contentment. With each inhale, imagine drawing in the tranquil amber light, and with each exhale, release any remaining tension. Feel the gentle warmth spreading through your chest and down your arms. Visualize the luminous sunstone blooms, their petals unfolding slowly, releasing their calming fragrance into the still air. If your thoughts begin to wander, that's perfectly natural. Simply acknowledge them gently and let them drift away, like the soft humming of the garden spirits carried on a gentle breeze. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be, except right here, in this moment of peace. Feel the gentle rhythm of the garden's lullabies, a soothing pulse of tranquility. Let it carry you away to a place of deep rest, where the amber light cradles you in comfort and serenity. Now, let us journey together into the heart of the Sunstone Gardens, where gentle melodies await to guide you into a restful slumber. Chapter 1: Whispers of Amber Light. Mirabel had been walking for what felt like days, the sun a relentless companion in the vast open plains. Dust clung to her worn boots and the hem of her lupao. The colour bleached pale by the journey. She longed for respite, a moment of quiet away from the endless horizon and the whisper of the wind in the dry grasses. As dusk began to paint the sky in hues of lavender and rose, a new sound reached her ears, a faint melodic humming, almost lost in the evening breeze. Intrigued and hopeful for a sign of civilization, she changed direction, her weary feet finding a renewed purpose in the gentle sound. The humming grew subtly louder as she traversed a small rise, and then the valley opened before her. It was not the bustling village she had imagined, but something far more enchanting. A hidden valley bathed in a soft amber glow, unlike anything she had ever witnessed. The source of the light seemed to emanate from the flora itself. Plants with petals that shimmered with a warm golden luminescence. The air, so dry and thin on the plains, here was still and filled with a gentle warmth that embraced her like a soft shawl. As she stepped into the valley, the humming became clearer, a series of gentle, interwoven melodies that seemed to vibrate in the very air around her. A sweet scent, reminiscent of sun-warmed honey and blooming jasmine, wafted around her, calming her senses and easing the tightness in her chest. She noticed delicate forms moving amongst the glowing plants, ethereal figures shimmering like heat haze on a summer day. These were the garden spirits, their forms indistinct yet graceful, their movements like the gentle sway of flower stems in a soft breeze. The ground beneath her feet softened from dusty earth to a carpet of moss, cool and velvety against her skin. She paused, taking off her boots and socks, relishing the sensation of the soft earth beneath her bare feet. It felt grounding, soothing, as if drawing the weariness from her body and replacing it with a gentle sense of connection to the valley itself. She closed her eyes for a moment, inhaling deeply, allowing the sweet, honeyed fragrance to fill her lungs, feeling the tension in her shoulders begin to melt away. Opening her eyes again, she noticed the garden spirits more clearly now. They were small, no taller than her knee, and their forms seemed to be woven from light itself, their edges blurring into the amber glow of the plants. They moved with a quiet purpose, tending to the luminous flora, their gentle humming the soundtrack to their work. One spirit, noticing her presence, paused in its tending and turned towards her, its form shimmering slightly brighter. There was no fear in its presence, only a gentle curiosity, a welcoming stillness. Mirabel took a tentative step further into the gardens, drawn in by the warmth, the light, and the soothing melodies. The amber glow seemed to deepen around her, embracing her in a soft, comforting embrace. She felt a lightness in her step, a sense of ease she had not experienced in weeks. The worries that had been her constant companions on the road began to recede, like shadows shrinking in the growing light of dawn. She reached out a hand and gently touched a petal of a nearby sunstone bloom. The petal was warm and smooth, like polished amber, and as her fingers brushed against it, she felt a subtle vibration, a gentle pulse of warmth that resonated through her hand and up her arm. The honeyed fragrance seemed to intensify, and the humming of the spirits grew a little louder, as if acknowledging her touch, her presence. A feeling of profound peace settled over her, a sense of being exactly where she needed to be, surrounded by tranquility and gentle magic. She found a small moss-covered rise near a cluster of particularly radiant sunstone blooms and sat down, leaning back against a smooth, warm stone. The amber light bathed her in its gentle glow. The lullabies of the garden spirits enveloped her, and the sweet scent of the blooms filled her senses. Here, in the heart of the Sunstone Gardens, weariness seemed to dissolve, replaced by a deep, abiding sense of calm and welcome. She closed her eyes again, this time not from fatigue, but from pure, unadulterated peace, ready to surrender to the gentle embrace of the gardens and the promise of restful slumber. Chapter 2: The Garden of Gentle Melodies. As the night deepened, the amber glow of the Sunstone Gardens intensified, casting long, soft shadows that danced and swayed with the gentle movements of the garden spirits. Mirabel awoke to find herself still nestled amongst the moss, a sense of deep rest pervading her body and mind. The air was cool and still, yet the warmth of the Sunstone Blooms radiated around her, creating a pocket of gentle comfort. The lullabies of the spirits continued their soothing serenade, a constant, calming presence in the quiet valley. She stretched languidly, feeling muscles that had been tight with travel loosen and relax. The moss beneath her was surprisingly comfortable, like a natural mattress woven from the softest fibres. She opened her eyes and gazed around the garden, now bathed in the full amber light of the night. The Sunstone Blooms seemed to pulse with a gentle rhythm, their light expanding and contracting in time with the soft humming of the spirits. It was a mesmerizing display of nature's quiet magic. Getting to her feet, Mirabel moved slowly, allowing herself to fully absorb the sensory richness of the garden. She walked barefoot through the moss, the cool, damp earth a pleasant contrast to the warm glow of the blooms. The honeyed fragrance was even more pronounced now, mingling with a subtle, earthy scent of damp soil and blooming flora. She followed the sound of the lullabies, drawn deeper into the heart of the gardens, wanting to observe the spirits more closely. She found them clustered around the larger Sunstone Blooms, their luminous forms moving with graceful precision. Some spirits gently brushed the petals with their shimmering hands, as if coaxing them to release more light and fragrance. Others seemed to be gathering the soft golden light that emanated from the blooms, weaving it into delicate strands that shimmered and floated in the air before dissolving back into the ambient glow. Their humming was not just a sound, but a tangible presence, a gentle vibration that resonated through her body, calming her thoughts and soothing her spirit. As she watched, one of the spirits, perhaps the same one from the previous evening, turned towards her again. It approached her slowly, its luminous form radiating a gentle warmth. It did not speak in words, but its presence communicated a sense of welcome, an cluster of vibrant sunstone blooms. The water shimmered with the amber light, reflecting the golden glow in a dance of gentle reflections. Mirabel approached the spring and knelt beside it, the cool, clear water inviting and refreshing. She cupped her hands and drank, the water tasting subtly sweet and incredibly pure, as if infused with the very essence of the Sunstone Blooms. Sitting beside the spring, she listened intently to the combined humming of the spirits. She noticed that the lullabies were not just a single melody, but a complex tapestry of interwoven sounds, each spirit contributing its own unique note to the harmonious whole. It was a symphony of tranquility, a natural lullaby that seemed to be woven into the fabric of the garden itself. She closed her eyes again, allowing the melodies to wash over her, feeling her anxieties and worries gently dissolve like morning mist under the warmth of the sun. As she sat in quiet contemplation, bathed in amber light and serenaded by gentle lullabies, Mirabel felt a profound sense of peace settle within her. The Sunstone Gardens were not just a place of beauty and tranquility, but a sanctuary for the soul, a place where worries faded and inner peace bloomed as effortlessly as the luminous flora that filled the valley. She knew with a certainty that settled deep within her heart that she had stumbled upon something truly special, a place of gentle magic and profound rest. Chapter 3: Stories in the Sunstone Blooms. The spirit, Lumina, as Mirabel intuitively began to call her in her thoughts, lingered near the spring, its gentle presence a comforting reassurance. Lumina subtly gestured towards a section of the garden Mirabel had not yet explored, a grove of sunstone blooms that shimmered with an even more vibrant, almost iridescent light. Intrigued, Mirabel followed Lumina, her bare feet padding softly on the mossy ground, the air around them humming with gentle melodies. As they approached the grove, Mirabel noticed that these sunstone blooms were different. Their petals were larger, more intricately shaped, and the amber light they emitted seemed to hold a depth, a shimmering quality that was absent in the other blooms. Looking closer, she saw faint, almost imperceptible images flickering within the petals, like reflections in still water disturbed by a gentle breeze. They were fleeting glimpses, gone as quickly as they appeared, but they held a quality of warmth and gentle emotion. Lumina paused before a particularly radiant bloom, its petals unfurling like delicate golden scrolls. She gestured towards it, and then towards Mirabel, her humming deepening slightly, carrying a note of gentle invitation. Mirabel understood. She reached out and gently touched the petal, her fingertips tracing the delicate veins that pulsed with soft, amber light. As she touched it, the shimmering images within the petal became clear. still fleeting and dreamlike. She saw a brief vision of a child laughing, their face bright with joy as they chased butterflies in a sunlit meadow. Then it shifted to an image of two hands clasped together, a silent gesture of comfort and support. Another image followed, a field of wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze, bathed in the golden light of a setting sun. Each image was fleeting, ephemeral, yet each carried a profound sense of peace, kindness, and quiet joy. Lumina communicated not through words, but through a shift in her humming, a gentle pressure against Mirabel's hand, and a deepening of the amber glow around them. Mirabel understood that these were stories of tranquility, moments of peace and kindness captured within the Sunstone Blooms. They were not grand tales of heroism or adventure, but quiet moments of beauty and connection, the small, precious instances that often went unnoticed in the rush of life. The spirit then led Mirabel to other blooms in the grove, each one holding its own collection of fleeting images, its own unique stories of tranquility. She saw a bird gently feeding its young, a raindrop clinging to a spider web, sparkling like a tiny jewel, an elderly person sitting peacefully in a garden, bathed in warm sunlight. Each glimpse was like a miniature meditation, a moment of quiet contemplation that filled her with a sense of gentle wonder and appreciation for the simple beauty of the world. Lumina showed Mirabel how to perceive these stories, how to open her heart and mind to the subtle vibrations of the blooms, to allow the fleeting images to wash over her, leaving behind a residue of peace and contentment. It was a gentle form of magic, a way of connecting with the quiet beauty of the world, of finding solace and inspiration in the smallest of moments. The Sunstone Gardens were not just a place of rest, but a library of tranquility, a repository of gentle stories waiting to be discovered. As the day progressed, Mirabel spent hours in the grove, exploring the stories within the Sunstone Blooms, guided by Lumina's gentle presence. She felt a sense of calm deepening within her, a quiet joy blossoming in her heart. The gardens were teaching her to see the beauty in the ordinary, to appreciate the small moments of peace and kindness that surrounded her, to find tranquility not in grand gestures, but in the gentle rhythm of life itself. And as she absorbed these stories of tranquility, she felt herself becoming more tranquil, more at peace, more connected to the quiet magic of the Sunstone Gardens. Chapter 4. The Heart of the Gardens. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the sky in soft hues of orange and rose, Lumina gently guided Mirabel deeper into the Sunstone Gardens. The lullabies of the spirits seemed to grow richer, more resonant, as if drawing energy from the fading light. They walked through winding paths, past vast clusters of glowing blooms, the honeyed fragrance growing stronger, leading them towards an unseen destination. A sense of anticipation, gentle and peaceful, filled the air. The path opened into a clearing, bathed in a soft, golden light that seemed to emanate from the very centre of the gardens. In the heart of the clearing stood a magnificent sunstone bloom, unlike any Mirabel had seen before. It was immense, its petals unfurling in layers upon layers, radiating a light that was both brilliant and soothing, like the warm glow of a hearth on a winter evening. The humming in this clearing was strongest, a deep, resonant melody that vibrated through the very ground beneath their feet. Lumina led Mirabel towards the magnificent bloom, her gentle presence urging her forward. As they approached, Mirabel could feel the warmth radiating outwards, enveloping her in a comforting embrace. The scent of honey and sunstone was intoxicating here, a rich, sweet fragrance that filled her senses and calmed her mind. The air itself seemed to hum with tranquility, a palpable sense of peace that permeated every corner of the clearing. Lumina gestured towards the base of the giant bloom, where soft moss formed a natural cushion, inviting and welcoming. She encouraged Mirabel to sit there beneath the radiant petals, to immerse herself fully in the heart of the gardens. Mirabel hesitated for a moment, feeling a sense of awe and reverence in the presence of such a magnificent bloom, before gently lowering herself onto the moss. The moment she sat down, a wave of warmth washed over her, a deep, comforting sensation that eased every ache and tension in her body. As she settled beneath the bloom, the lullabies seemed to focus, to converge around her, resonating through her very being. The deep, resonant melodies vibrated in her chest, her limbs, her very bones, filling her with a profound sense of calm and acceptance. She felt a gentle warmth spreading outwards from her heart, a feeling of peace blossoming within her, mirroring the radiant bloom above. The worries and anxieties that had clung to her for so long seemed to simply melt away like snowflakes in the warmth of the sunstone light. Closing her eyes, Mirabel surrendered completely to the experience, allowing the lullabies to wash over her, to cleanse and renew her spirit. She felt a sense of deep connection to the gardens, to Lumina, to the gentle magic that permeated this tranquil valley. It was as if she had found her way home, not to a place of bricks and mortar, but to a sanctuary within herself, a place of peace and quietude that had been waiting to be rediscovered. She remained there for what felt like hours, lost in the gentle embrace of the heart of the gardens. The amber light bathed her in its soothing glow. The lullabies resonated through her, and the sweet fragrance calmed her senses. She felt a profound sense of release, of letting go of burdens she had carried for too long, of accepting herself and her journey with gentle kindness. The Sunstone Gardens were not just a place of rest, but a place of deep healing, a sanctuary for the soul in need of solace and peace. As the last rays of sunlight faded from the sky and the amber glow of the gardens intensified, Mirabel opened her eyes, feeling refreshed and renewed, her heart filled with a quiet joy. The heart of the Sunstone Gardens had offered her not just rest, but a profound sense of inner peace, a tranquility that she knew she could carry with her. Long after she left this hidden valley, a gentle ember of warmth and light to guide her on her journey. Chapter 5: Carrying the Amber Light. The first hints of dawn began to paint the eastern sky in soft strokes of pale blue and lavender as Mirabel stirred beneath the magnificent Sunstone Bloom. She awoke feeling utterly refreshed, as if she had slept for days, every trace of weariness banished by the tranquil magic of the gardens. The lullabies of the spirits were softer now, a gentle morning serenade welcoming the new day with quiet grace. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of dew-kissed moss and the lingering sweetness of Sunstone Blooms. She rose slowly, stretching her limbs, feeling a lightness in her step, a renewed sense of energy flowing through her. The amber light of the gardens had softened slightly with the approaching dawn, yet it still radiated a gentle warmth, a comforting presence that lingered in the air. Lumina approached, her luminous form shimmering softly in the morning light, her gentle humming a silent greeting. Mirabel smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the spirit's kindness and guidance. She spent the early hours of the morning wandering through the gardens one last time, imprinting the sights, sounds, and scents onto her memory. She touched the warm petals of the Sunstone Blooms, listened to the gentle melodies of the spirits, and breathed in the sweet, honeyed fragrance, wanting to carry the essence of this tranquil place within her. She felt a profound connection to the gardens, a sense of belonging she had not expected to find in this hidden valley. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the valley, Mirabel knew it was time to depart. She approached Lumina, her heart filled with a mixture of gratitude and a tinge of sadness at leaving this peaceful sanctuary. She offered a silent thank you to the spirit, bowing her head in respect and appreciation. Lumina responded with a gentle touch, a soft brush of her luminous form against Mirabel's hand, a silent blessing and farewell. Turning to leave the clearing, Mirabel paused at the edge of the Sunstone Gardens, looking back at the valley bathed in morning light. The amber glow of the blooms seemed to shimmer and dance. The lullabies of the spirits echoed softly in the air, and the sweet fragrance lingered, a gentle reminder of the tranquility she had found here. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the essence of the gardens, carrying it within her as she turned to face the path ahead. As she walked away from the valley, she noticed something subtle. something new. A faint warm glow emanated from within her, a gentle pulse of light that resonated with the rhythm of her heartbeat. It was a soft, amber light, an echo of the Sunstone Gardens, a reminder of the peace and tranquility she had absorbed there. She realized that the gardens had not just offered her rest, but had gifted her with a piece of their magic, an inner light that she could carry with her wherever her journey might lead. The scent of sunstone and honey seemed to linger around her, a comforting presence that accompanied her as she walked back onto the open plains. The world outside the valley seemed brighter, more vibrant, imbued with a subtle beauty she had not noticed before. Her steps felt lighter, her spirit more buoyant, carrying the tranquility of the Sunstone Gardens within her heart. She knew that even though she was leaving this peaceful sanctuary, she was taking its essence with her, a gentle reminder of the inner peace that resided within, waiting to be rediscovered whenever she needed it. And so, Mirabel continued her journey, no longer weary and burdened, but refreshed and renewed, carrying the amber light of the Sunstone Gardens within her, a beacon of tranquility and hope, a gentle lullaby for her soul, guiding her towards a future filled with peace and quiet joy. The memory of the gardens, the gentle melodies of the spirits, and the warmth of the Sunstone Blooms would remain with her always, a sanctuary within, a place of rest and renewal to which she could always return in the quiet stillness of her heart.